and is working in and through us.
It's like my wife says, you. Yeah, and you will meet a lot of opposition. I mean, that's for sure. You will. But look at it this way: they're not opposing you; they're opposing what you're saying. See, that's it. They're opposing their own goodwill, but that's okay. I mean, it happens. And as a matter of fact, God even puts things there, he says, that will cause you to think. See, he's always doing something to start you thinking, for yourself. After all, what didn't you go through a time when you started thinking for yourself? But I'm telling you, I've have spoken to very, very elderly people. And I'll tell you this, they're still being raised. Everything that totally, they're still being raised. And they have never even considered the fact that well, we're all conditioned to the ongoing drama when we come in. That's your innocence time. It doesn't last very long anymore. but, but at the same time, it's still a matter of as you think you are. And look, you're on all the time, right?
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
mean, I mean, understand you're pronouncing your future moment by moment. So I'd be a little cautious there as to what you're thinking and feeling, because thinking and feeling to subconscious mind is, oh, that's what he wants. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, that's what he wants.
Yeah.
And so you get more of it because, see, God made a contract with subconscious mind, so to speak. It's not really a contract, but that it produce your world according to as you think feelingly about yourself. Your world is constructed. And the world on the without is secondhand. It's only new as idea, but you can start a new idea this moment. You are in control, even if you're out of control. That's a story for all of us, really. That, yeah, I don't know where that came from. Oh, of course I do. Oh, hello, Han. Well, no, no, actually, this is really joyful to do this. It really is.
Mhm.
Uh, Other than that, I don't really see. I don't really have much interest in the internet. I'd be totally lost.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard from other people in my age range, that it's really easy to get, really caught up in what's
Oh,
going
absolutely.
on that screen.
Absolutely.
And not only while you're watching it, you see, if you watch enough of it, well, it replays.
Yeah.
Your mind has to have something to do. So if you're not feeding it good material, well, then it'll take the old material and just rerun it and rerun it. And what happens? You wake up like, ah.
Yeah.
But you're doing it to yourself, you see. The last thing before you go to sleep at night, it should be thank you, Father.
Absolutely.
I mean, I mean, come on. Certainly you're better off than the millions. And if you're not, well, that's your fault too. Remember, God, this was God's word. He said, they themselves are makers of themselves. So he's saying, whoa, whoa, not me. It's not God's fault. It's not God's fault because he gave you chooses. And think of it this way. He said, I suffer with you, though you behold me not. So he's going through whatever you're putting him through that you're putting yourself through. And he's telling you, no, he's not.
No.
Because you see, he knows it's all a play.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the grandest play, but it's all a play nonetheless. You have to, because you can change it scene by scene by scene. And so why don't you do so? And all it takes is say it. Your say is a valid say. All you have to do is test it. You don't need anyone to test your valid say. You can sit in the silence there actually actually that's what your world is what you think of yourself. How could it be otherwise?
It can't be.
See? So as you think you are, that's it. And you're always thinking ahead of your evidence, of your experiencing. And if you want to change it, you gotta start right here. Go in the silence. Go in the silence. See, one with God is a majority, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Well, then who do you need to go with you? And he says, I'm with you always. So, I mean, come on, I don't understand. People don't seem to get warm to the idea that they actually count in this world.
Absolutely.
And they don't realize that their feeling of not counting is them not counting themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
It's true.
It can't be all ego. I mean, ego has a part to play. Can't I don't want to get rid of them completely because you see if I do, then I can't excuse myself. Come on, you have to relax. Come on, believe me, God laughs. Yeah, well, I know it is. I mean, if you're laughing at the antics of people,
Yeah. Think about God.
Laughing with you. If you're laughing, he's laughing because he doesn't know that what you really are thinking feelingly about ahead of your evidence, but yet he does, but he can't change anything. See, he doesn't even really know to change it. See, he completely gave himself. Not just a little bit, he gave himself. He tells you, I'm not telling you anything that isn't in scripture. I mean, you can look it up for yourself. The thing of it is, though, is that when you start reading about the stories in it, you get, you're off somewhere down around the corner and over the, I mean, where did you go? That has your attention now. Well, so how did you cause any beneficial changes? See, you have to feel the changes. You have to be the changes. Think only on things that are lovely and of good report. Only. See, that you got to remember that only. Because if you get off track, you experience being off track. And you may have just stepped off a track here and you're on a track here going the other way. And then you wonder, why me? Why this? Why now? Well, at least it'd be instant. Oh, I better not. Yeah, well, yeah. Life is to be enjoyed. I mean, God's on your side. If God is on your side, what do you got to worry about? And he says, I'm right here with you. I mean, what are you doing with my power? I gave it to you, choosing. You say, well, I didn't choose this. Well, but you see, you don't know what you're choosing. And that's what we're here to tell you is that if you're choosing and you're not aware of what you're choosing and you experience it, then you have to find somebody to blame. It's somebody's fault, but not me. Not me. It's really easy to pass it off to someone else, but doing so, you've just condemned yourself to do it again. You see, yeah, that's right. You do it again. because you see, it doesn't go away. If you had an experience with it, then you're even that much more likely to think about it in the future. And then think about it in the future sets up your future.
Yeah.
See, I usually have a cameraman following me. Yeah, it's a great life. But boy, it sure takes a lot of struggle to find that out, even though he tells you it's right with you. I'm with you. And what did he say? If he didn't do it, it wasn't done. Well, there it is. If you want him to do it, you got to ask him, right? He says you receive not because you ask not. Well, he's listening. As a matter of fact, I can't imagine him listening. Father goes, if you see God and he's got earplugs in, you'll know why. Because yeah, he's probably heard enough of your nonsense. And especially since he's made it so simple. What are you being taught? Have you ever questioned that? See, I mean, they'll have the Bible right there and they'll read these different stories to you. But like the guy says, that happened 2,000 years ago. What has it got to do with me here, right now? Everything. That's what it has to do with everything. That's the only reason to look for history, is to see the people thinking and what they made. They had to do the thinking. So that's how you put it together. And that's how you put your own life together the same way. You check on what you're thinking and you categorize it. That goes this. In other words, that house cleaning is this house. You're the temple of the living God. Well, you should clean up. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. You asked the question. You said, listen, what are you asking? And the asking, and you also said earlier, and I want to add these two together. You said, turn to me and I'll turn to you. This is God speaking. Many of you are saying, well, how do I ask? Because what you think that you're doing when you're begging and pleading is asking God. The way that you ask is begin getting in mind what it is that you desire. You begin setting your attention on that. It's like the story that Mr. Lindell read earlier in the talk. When you start focusing on what it is that you want, as Neville often said, feeling is the secret. So you see what it is that you desire to manifest. You start giving your attention thinking from that. That's the prayer. The begging, the pleading, the crying, the tears. Moses was at the bank of the river and God said, why are you standing there crying? He says, go out and do what it is that you've been called to do. Give your attention as what's been given to you in the high place in the mountain. Begin living, thinking, feeling from that. And that's your acts. That's your turning.
That's it. That's it. And I found myself crying.
Me too.
I found myself crying, but it was a joy. That's the difference. Those are tears of joy. Because once you understand your role in this play of humanity, that's it. I mean, do it and see for yourself, because you wouldn't believe it anyway.
Yeah.
You see, it says all things are possible to those who believe. And we're telling you how to believe differently. And that's all it is. If you're not willing to invest in yourself, time, because that's what it is, you're investing is time. How much time are you willing to give to have what you want? I mean, because everything you hear is all a hearsay. I don't care who you heard it from. If the president of the United States or the Pope or whoever, it doesn't matter. It's all hearsay until you experience it first person. and you will do so. But why wait? Why are you waiting? If someone would have said that to me, well, what are you waiting for? I wouldn't have known. I didn't know. And I always talk about, oh, I know that, but I didn't know that. I knew about that. And knowing about that, that's a nice place to start. But that's all it is. It's a start. See, you have the knowledge with you. I didn't say you remember it, but you have it with you. And what you're being told to do will help you in your remembrance and comfort you at the same time. And if you're not living at least in comfort of some sort, then it's you denying you. Believe me, I would have argued against that. And in fact, I did argue against that. As a matter of fact, I even started off in a bad mood about God. But that's a long story too. But the thing of it is that the story is your story, first person, present tense. That's your story. And you do what you do with it with your own permission. And you say, well, but I didn't choose this that I'm experiencing. Well, actually you did, because I can testify from experience, God didn't make the mistake. I always made the mistake. I could look back and see where I fell off, where I denied myself that double thinking. See, you try to analyze things, you don't analyze it, you be it. If you analyze it, you'll just confuse yourself. I know, because I went through a lot of confusion. And I have to watch it that I don't slip into it, because the environment around you does have a pretty strong effect on you. As a matter of fact, some people, you might say that they're just really simply impressed with anything going on, and it satisfies them. But you see, there'll come a time when that doesn't satisfy you anymore. But why wait until you're so old that you don't learn how to enjoy life? I mean, believe me, I see the people every day going around me, and I mean, every once in a while, and even when you smile at them, they kind of look at you, looking, but you have to be resolute. You see, if you're not, then you can't even watch yourself. And that's bad news.
Yeah.
You got to watch yourself, because yourself is going to condemn yourself. And you're told, blessed is the man that does not condemn himself for that which he has allowed. So he's forgiving you every day. You understand? You're forgiven by him every day, because you can change it the next day.
A new day.
You understand? Well, I know you can't change it, but you're starting to change it. The only reason that, no, if you were wholehearted, then you'd walk away just like Enoch did. No, you don't have to go through the dying. See, that's it. You can do so, but that takes a wholeheartedness. And we're so conditioned to this ongoing drama that it pulls us in every direction. And to completely let it go is really, really, and that's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like to brag about accomplishments, but that is an accomplishment. That because they're so ingrained. I mean, oh, the jokes and all of the funny things, and all the, like, the writing you see on the bathroom walls. That's all wanting to be noticed. The guy go on the street. Everybody wants to be noticed.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is that as long as you're noticed, you can't practice the solitude. You have to have the time when you go sit still Be still. Now that's not be quiet, that's be still. Frozen like. Be still and know that I am God with you always. Will never leave you. Omnipresent. I mean, there's the whole story. You're not only forgiven, but he's telling you, I'm suffering with you, so stop it. Think only on things that are lovely to good report. Put it that way. That doesn't sound so. I know. I'm told I come on like a bear. But hey, I hear all the time, if it were only simple. Can you tell me simply? But you see, they're not ready to hear what they're going to hear when they ask for simple. And so they reject it. You're telling them they're not doing it right. And that automatically raises the hair on the back of their neck. Maybe not in your case, but it's really strange that people think that they have to go outside of themselves to find themselves when they're already present with themselves and they're already going through what they're going through with themselves. Why wouldn't they start right there?
Well, we've been conditioned purposefully from childhood by media, educators, parents, well meaning people, but everyone tells us you have to be like Mary, you have to be like Joe. If you want to be successful, you got to drive this car, you got to have this house, you have to live in this neighborhood. So naturally, we think that if I really want to be successful, I have to go without. And the truth of the matter is, it's actually the reverse. You
Yeah.
have to go within.
I mean, what we're asking you is to depend on the very person you're not really that you really don't like that much yourself. The only reason we're talking to you is that you have not yet begun to question yourself. You're questioning to everybody outside of you, but why aren't you not questioning for yourself? Because that's the ones running your show. Hopefully it's you thinking feelingly and not ego.
Yeah.
Okay, because like I said, ego has a part to play, but not running the show. Because he'll run you to ruin.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to do you away because you're
Host.
yeah, yeah, that's it. And believe me, he is feeding on you. He's feeding on your attention, and he'll do whatever he needs to do to keep your attention. Because if you start going in a way that he doesn't want you to, he'll kind of make a ruckus. And then if you get distracted by that, why then he's got you. Think for yourself. Really. That what are they telling you? Be aware. Be aware of your surroundings. And you, I mean, you see people, they don't really look like they know where they're going, and that's not a why. I mean, you're really making yourself available to a problem because there are people out there looking for people who aren't aware. And that's who they'd want to take from. If you're aware, they don't want to mess with you. But that's the same thing here. You get aware here, and people kind of leave you alone. Oh, they want to ask you 1,000 questions, and you answer the questions, but then that only brings up another question, and then you answer that question, and that brings up another question. And so I said, well, what was the first question I answered for you? Uh, uh, see, I found that that's what they do in the churches. They run stories off about people, and there are no people. They're all here. Come on. 1,000 on this side and 1,000. Oh, well, it's actually more than that, but 1,000 on, and they're going to go down and go and have a real battle. And you want to think about that. You want them to call you to draft you to be down there with hacking with the. So no, see, if you don't want to do these things, then do not give them your attention. Because if you're giving them your attention, you're literally giving them your life.
Absolutely.
I mean, can you make it any simpler than that?
You
And
sure?
that's what I'm always asked is how do you make it simple? And of course, that's what I wanted to know. See, that was my quest. I wanted it simple enough that I could understand it, and it had to be pretty simple. So that's the reason why I know they should be getting it, because it had to be pretty simple for me to get it, other than just give this message. And that's all I'm required to do. What you do with it, that's your business. I mean, you know, if you're giving a way out and you won't want to take it, well, you know, why waste my time and yours too?
Yeah.
You have to feel that you want this. And when I say feel that you want it, I mean, you, it's a passion. You look for every opportunity, just like we used to look for women. You have to be really looking for what you want. But it's nice to know that you know what you want. But actually, I have a hard time finding enough people that actually even know what they want. Oh, they'll give you all sorts of, you know, and they'll say, well, but this whole thing's a fantasy. And I go, yeah, so. And they say, well, what do you mean, yeah, so? And I go, well, you said it right. It's all a fantasy. This is a virtual reality. It's not reality. You know, it says reality. There's nothing changes in reality. And here, everything changes. I mean, so it can't be reality.
It's changing.
But it's what we're doing. It's out of the mind. And this whole thing is all out of the mind of man because he gave man to choose it. And here it is. This is what he chosen. I wish they'd choose wireless here. So. I was crawling around under the other desk yesterday. We'll sure be glad when I get wireless. But they are working on it.
They are. Yeah.
I mean, there's someone working on it because I know people want that.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, what do you got? I must have 20 things in this room all plugged into something.
Yeah.
You know, and I can only use them a couple at a time because I don't want to blow. As you think you are, just ask yourself, what am I thinking about? Or am I thinking at all? Am I letting the TV think for me? You'd be surprised to find out how many really are walking around as advertisements. Right?
Absolutely. Well, sir,
Oh, has it been that time?
it's been that time and a little bit more.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. It's been a joy.
It's always a joy.
Very good.
We'll
And
talk. Go ahead.
no,
We'll
I
talk
just
to you soon.
okay.
People just want to know what you did to be successful.
The 4 CDs that I have out there, it's all there. If you took any one of the CDs and actually followed through on what you understood there, you could change your mind, change your world. All you have to do is just listen to the CDs. It's always reiteration and reiteration.
I want to go back to the 4 CD set. Go to metaphysicalarttheater.com. We can only mail in the U.S. right now, but for those who are outside the U.S., we can send you a digital bundle with everything, so you'll get the enjoyment without waiting for it in the mail. Matter of fact, those who are in the U.S., if you would rather have the digital copies, we can do that as well. metaphysicalarttheater.com.